waking up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym was no longer an event. It was just something I did. Hello and welcome to the channel. So I think I finally cracked the code to have one of the best years of my life. Let me explain. So I have always been an overachiever. I have always been really good in school. Straight A student. Sometimes a B would creep in, but that's fine. And I've achieved literally everything that I've put my mind to. However, there's one thing that I kept struggling with for the longest time, and that was my fitness. I have never really been out of shape. So for most of my life, I've been pretty small, but not because I'm just genetically small. I've tried to keep a consistent weight range. It has fluctuated, of course, over the years. And as I gotten older, I, put on some pounds. And then last year, I realized I had put on way too many pounds and I needed to lose some weight. So I did that. I generally know how to lose weight. It's not a big thing for me. However, this year came and I lost the weight, but I didn't really like how I looked. I still felt very skinny fat. And so this year I decided to change things up. I didn't just want to lose weight. I wanted to change how I looked and felt in my body. And I was going to do that through body recomposition. And what is body recomposition? Well, it is essentially losing fat and building muscle at the same time. It is a much slower process than just losing weight, because when you're losing weight, essentially you're losing everything, right? So you're losing muscle, you're losing fat, you're losing water. And that is what often gives people that skinny fat look. Like you're slim, but you're still holding on to fat. Whereas with body recomp, you're losing fat, but you're gaining muscle. So your weight in terms of what you see on the scale might not change, but your body is changing because the actual composition of your body is shifting from more fat to more muscle and less fat. So that is what often gives people that really nice and toned look. You get the abs, you get, the arms, the strong back, everything just looks perfect. And that's what I want it to be. So I thought, well, I need to do something different, and I can't keep going back to the same systems that I've used to lose weight because this is a completely different journey. So what was I going to do to start this body recomp journey and to be consistent in it? Because that was the main thing. Like, it's one thing to start, and I think so many people start. It's another thing to actually be consistent and make it a lifestyle. And that's where I wanted to be, or that's what I wanted to do. So I realized that I needed to really kind of crack the psychology of myself in order to do this, because everything else in my life I'd been able to achieve. I've just completed my PhD, which was an incredibly intense journey, but it's something I'd put my mind to, and I did it, right? I've lived in a non-English speaking country. I put my mind to it and I did it, and I survived and I thrived, and I really did enjoy it. So in terms of my ability to do hard things, I think I have proved to myself, but there was this particular hard thing that I just couldn't do. I just couldn't crack the code on how to kick off a fitness lifestyle, not just, a weight loss thing, but like a fitness lifestyle that I would stick to and that would then become part of my identity. I wanted to be the person that works out consistently. I wanted to be the person that moves her body. I wanted to be the person that eats the right foods, that is mindful of what she's putting in her body. And so that needed kind of a whole psychological rewiring for me. And I needed to stop looking at fitness as something that's just about the vanity, right? I needed to stop looking at it as just, I want to look hot. And I also needed to start looking at it as a number on a scale. When I reach this number, because with body recomposition, the scale might even increase because you're putting on muscle, or it might not shift. But like I said, the composition of how your body is structured is actually shifting. So what did I do to finally crack the code? I kind of had to look at the history of me and understand what are the things that work for me? What are the things that have always worked for me? And for me, it is systems. Having systems in place with very clear goals that always got me going, right? I needed a very clear goal and I needed a system in place to ensure that I would reach that goal. I was doing that with everything else in my life. So my academics, my professional career, my business endeavors, I'd been doing that. But with my fitness, I had never done that. So for once, I sat down and I put a system down. And I said, what do I need? I know that I need a timeline, right? I need to make smart goals. And so for me, I know that I need to have a timeline, right? I can't work towards an ambiguous goal where there's no end point. So I needed to create an initial end point for myself, even though I know that this is going to be a lifetime thing. For me to get started, I needed to have kind of an end point. So I needed to kind of batch the goal, right? It's a lifestyle goal, it's a lifetime goal, but I needed to batch it in sections, right? So what I did is I started with the 6-week challenge. And the 6-week was enough time to get me going, to build a habit, and to kind of get to a point where by the end of the 6 weeks, I think essentially it was about developing the habit. I wasn't looking for results in the first 6 weeks. So I joined a 6-week challenge at a local gym, and essentially I needed to work out 6 days a week. This was part of the challenge. I needed to work out 6 days a week. I needed to track my calories and my macros, and I needed to get in my steps. And I was being held accountable by the coaches at this gym. So that was great because it was like that external motivation and accountability. There was a time limit to it, and this was the key thing for me. There was a financial incentive to it. Now, when we start talking about money, count me in, involve me, please involve me. So I paid for this challenge, of course, and the incentive was, well, if you reach your goal by the 6th week and you've been consistent and you've been attending all of your workout sessions and you've been eating well, then you can actually get all your money back. And that for me, it cracked the system, it unlocked the code, because those are the things that I needed. I needed accountability, I needed a set end date, and the financial incentive was great. So I got into that challenge, and it was hard. It was really hard because this gym is not very close to me. It's about a 30-minute drive, and I had to wake up every day at 5 o'clock to make it to the session. They had sessions throughout the day, but because I work a 9 to 5, I can't just randomly show up at 2 p.m., right? And then there's traffic and all of those things. The 5:30 sessions was the only one I could realistically make given my schedule. So I would wake up at 5 o'clock, drive 30 minutes, do my workout, drive back home, and kind of just be consistent. And by the end of the 6 weeks, what happened was insane for me. It was insane for me. I couldn't recognize the person I was, and not physically, because physically I still looked the same. It's been 6 weeks. I mean, I had lost a few pounds. I have gotten down in my body fat percentage, and I'd gotten up in my muscle. So I was essentially already doing body recomp. But it was more so the habit. Waking up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym was no longer an event. It was just something I did. It became part of my identity. Like, I didn't even think about it. I'd wake up, get dressed, get to my car, and go. No questions, no trying to negotiate with myself, no, should I just go to the evening class? None of that. I mean, I had a few days where, the thoughts won, but for the most part, I was consistent, and that was amazing. I think the biggest thing I got out of it was the consistency, right? With setting the habit, was building that habit. So that was one thing right? I built the habit. I had the accountability. I didn't reach the goal because I think I had set a very ambitious goal. I had set the goal to reduce my body fat percentage by 6%. So that was quite a lot for 6 weeks. I think I got to about 5%, which I think is still amazing. But the biggest thing, like I said, for me was that I'd build the habit. And so once I completed that challenge, I was still working out. Like, I didn't need, someone ticking off how many sessions I'd done a week for me to go in and do my sessions. I started really enjoying it. I started working out alone. And then I set another goal for myself because now I know that this system works. Like, the system of having kind of something you're working towards, so having a kind of a short to medium line to work towards, that really gets me going, because I can count things down, and I love that. I'm a nerd about like ticking days off and counting things down, and 4 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. So I love that. So after that, I set a new goal for myself, which, you know, I'm working towards. It's a 90-day medium. It's my own version of a 75 hard, but it's 90-day medium. And there are certain things that I'm making sure that I'm doing every day, which, you know, are in line with my goal. There's also certain, in terms of what I want my body to look like, I've kind of sketched that out already. I've put down measurements, because like I'm a numbers girl now. I've never been a numbers girl. So I come from social science, and now I'm in tech. But I've never really been a numbers girl. But now I'm a numbers girl. I will check I will check my waist, like measure my waist, measure my hips. I am looking at, you know, how many days I'm working out. I am tracking not just my workouts, I'm tracking my weights. Like, okay, this week I did 40K on the hip thrust. You know, I'm making notes of that. Next week, I know I need to progressive overload. So I'm going to try to go 45, or I'm going to increase my reps. So yeah, and now I'm working towards the system, and it's like, it's so automatic. And I think back to the girl that I was last year, and I'm like, what? She couldn't do this? This is so easy. But I also want to give myself credit, because no, it was not easy, right? Waking up 5 o'clock every day. I didn't feel like it most of the time, but getting to this point where fitness is just something that I do, and I love it, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm at like almost the halfway mark of my 90-day challenge. And what I've done now is I've added another thing. So my friends and I are doing Hyrox actually tomorrow. And Hyrox was one of the things that I had added, where I said, I want to have something that I'm working towards. I want to have something that I'm training towards, right? Yes, how I'll look physically is great, but also being able to test myself and push myself and at an endurance race like Hyrox is incredible. So I'm doing my first Hyrox tomorrow. I'm so excited, I want to see what this body can do, because I felt myself getting stronger. I felt myself getting leaner. And this has only been, I want to say 3 months. So I think about, what would it look like a year in, you know? Who does Lauren look like a year in, like physically, but also just how I feel mentally, how I show up in the world? Because fitness goes beyond your body, right? I have truly seen the transformative power of fitness, of moving your body, of loving on your body, and really being intentional every day in showing your body that you love it, and appreciating it for what it does for you. So that's how I cracked the code into my fitness journey, right? I gave myself challenges, I set up timelines, and I set up systems that'll ensure that I'm showing up every single day. I'm not measuring myself every day. I'm not weighing myself every day. But best believe at the end of the day, I give myself a pat on the back, because did I get my 2 liters of water in? Yes. Did I get my 8 to 10K steps in? Yes. Did I get my 45-minute workout in? Yes. You know, did I hit my protein goals? Yes. So ticking that off every day, I'm winning. It just makes me feel so good. And, you know, at the end of the week, I'll kind of do my measurements and check my progress. And I'm like, yeah, it works. So I hope this encourages someone. Like, if you're wanting to start a fitness journey and consistency has been your biggest issue, I would say just go and find a space that is going to force you into like a system, right? You need a system. You don't need to be in that system forever, but it's going to really propel you and build the habit. If anything else, it builds the habit, and it is the habit that is going to give you the results that you want, because consistency over intensity all day, every day. Consistency over intensity is what I keep telling myself. And honestly, I love it. I love the results. I love how I feel. I love how just generally like my outlook in life is amazing. I love my body. Like, she's not where she wants to be. But the fact that every day I'm like, oh girl, this body, like I RDL'd like 30 kgs today, or, you know, I was able to do my lateral pull down to like 40 kgs. That's impressive. Yeah. That is so impressive. I'm impressed with myself every day. I don't know about y'all. And it has been phenomenal also just for my confidence because, hi, you can't talk to me. Can you bench press 40 kgs? You can't. So don't speak to me. No, I'm just being silly. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that helps someone. Let me know if you want to hear more about my Hyrox challenge and how that went. And yeah, we're just going to have fun. There's really no huge pressure. We're just going to try to have fun with it. But I'll probably come back and report on how it went. In the meantime, keep glowing, keep growing. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.